What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Nonsense live stream. What's up, Aerospace? Oh, man. I had this whole stream kind of mapped out earlier. I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, but I got to tell a funny story. It's too fucking good. Um, right before this, I had to go to my girlfriend's house to walk her dogs, and she lives in like a townhouse. So I'm walking the dogs, and a car drives by. It's a little old lady in the car, and I just happen to know this little old lady, and she's looking. I'm like, "Oh, hey, it's Barbara." And a split second later, Barbara runs right into a parked car. I'm laughing because I'll tell you why. She's okay. Don't worry. I ran over the car. Are you all right? You know, reported it. Even though I didn't want to, because she's a sweet 82-year-old woman, and today is her birthday. Fuck, right? So today's this woman's birthday. I actually just wished her a happy birthday, on Facebook or whatever. She wasn't paying attention. She was looking at the dogs, didn't realize it was me, and just bam, right into the back of this fucking car. Nobody's hurt. She's fine. Just a parked car. Another lady saw it. So she's knocking on doors to see whose car it is. I'm there talking to Barbara. But since I know her, I kind of, my way of always dealing with stuff is through jokes. I try to be funny all the time, even in the darkest of hours, and it's always gotten me through. So I kind of just started, roasting her a little bit. And she knows me, so she wasn't mad. She immediately got out of the car, goes, "I wasn't paying attention." So, she took full responsibility for her situation, which is what you should do, in any given day of life. Rest in peace, Barbara. She's okay. She's fine. So I'm sitting there going, "Hey, well, happy birthday. You get a new car." And she's like, "I made it 2 years old. Do you think that's the last thing I want is a brand new car? I don't give a shit." She didn't say give a shit, but I threw that in there. But she pretty much was just saying, doesn't matter. But she had a good head on her shoulders about it. I joked around with her, gave her a hug. Then I got out of there. But it's just, I don't know why. It's probably because I know her and it's hilarious. Because from my perspective, this is what I saw was I see a car, I see a little old lady looking at me, and a second and a half later, I just hear, oh my God. Oh, but she was making fun of herself too, so we got to joke about it. It was fun. See, that's when you know people have a good soul, is they don't fucking think it's the end of the world and go, "Oh my God, why were you standing there? I hit this car." Like, no, she didn't do any of that. She just goes, "I wasn't paying attention." Bam. It is a real good example of people who know how to handle their own shit, take responsibility for your actions and not try to pass the blame off on somebody else. Though I felt partially responsible in my own skin. I was like, damn it, if I hadn't been walking these dogs, she probably wouldn't have hit the fucking car. So for me, it's a way to look at the universe, looking at like this weird order of things that happen. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. That sure is a very, it's odd that this person I knew saw me hit a car. I had to report it. We laughed about it. Everything's fine. But for whatever reason, like that happened at that moment in time. I mean, the odds of, if you want to think about how crazy something is, just step back and think about any given day and how other lives interact with the other lives. Like, I had to be at that exact moment, at that exact second, because had I been there a minute or two before or after, she would have drove right by. Her house is right down the road too, which is even more fucking hysterical because you could see her house was like 100 yards away, and she lives with her daughter, and the daughter came down. that sucks. And I feel for her on that because I totaled the car a half a block from my house when I was a teenager. But you never think about how crazy that is. A minute either later or sooner than that, it wouldn't have happened. Maybe even 30 seconds. You know, maybe even 20 seconds, give or take, either way, that shit wouldn't have happened. But it did. And then, isn't that crazy? And if it would have been just like a random lady, I still would have did the same shit. I would have checked on her, would have been like, hey, how you doing? Are you all right? Is everything okay? Would have phoned it in to the cops or whatever. I felt bad phoning it in. There was that part of me that's like, oh, I don't want to call the cops on this lady because I love her and I don't want to do that. Then there's the other part of me. It's like, I got to take responsibility for this. Ah, shit. So that sucked. And she admitted, she's like, I wish she hadn't have done that. And I go, I know. Again, we'll joke about it later. But comedy, man. This is why I decided I had a whole fucking list of serious shit I wanted to go through, which I probably still will because, hey, it's my stream. I'll do what I want. Just kidding. But if you can't laugh, this world to me, if you take yourself so seriously all the time, I feel like you just kill a part of your soul every time you do that. And the fact that she got out of the car and we just started joking right away, man, that's such a better way to look at things. It's a matter of perception. I've been on the other foot, like when I totaled my car when I was a teenager, I lost control. I ran into a parked car and fucking we got 1 hour to go over everything. Yeah. Oh, an hour to go over everything? Tons of stuff. So when I hit a parked car, I was 16, 17 at the time, and I fucking I had neighbors coming out yelling at me like, what the fuck were you thinking? Nobody was compassionate about it because I was fucking around. I came speeding around a corner in my Mustang, and rightly so. I would be angry too because, at the time, could have been a kid in the road, who knows, but I was fucking around. And so all the neighbors who came out and heard the crash were like, yeah, it was doing like 70 miles an hour around the corner. And they weren't happy, even though it wasn't their car, but they weren't happy because I think they were scared because it could have either been worse if they knew if somebody would have been hurt or maybe their kid was in the road. Everything comes from fear and love. Remember, I did check out briefly. I looked at that Discord app and I didn't have time to like really dive into it or make anything with it because I've been at work. Today's like my first day off. I've literally had no time to rest. I'm exhausted. Today, right now, at this exact second, is the first time since Friday I feel like I have energy. So bear with me. I did look at it for gamers or whatnot, but it does seem kind of cool to set up videos and all that. So I apologize. Ollie will if you want to set it up, by all means, send me a link at twoyaga at gmail. Just call it no nonsense, and we'll go from there. Yeah, but if you want to do it, hey, that's how people work. And that's what I like right there. That's what I'm into is other people who are like, you know what, if you can, because as one person, you can only do so much. But if somebody goes, hey, I can help you with this, God, that's awesome. To build a community like that, put your email in the chat. Yeah, TWO at, don't be no fucking scammer now. You a scammer? If I start getting weird ass porn mail, dude, I'm coming. I got friends in high places here. There you go. I'm just kidding. But seriously though, if you want to set it up, I appreciate that. Because like I said, I don't know. So thank you. See, the beauty about starting a community where people are willing to do stuff, that's why becoming your own individual self is important in this world. You gotta know who you are, what you like, what your core principles and values are. I'm gonna sign you up. Hotsexycougars.com. No. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it if you don't. But thank you for the humor. See, I think that's hilarious. It's like, who even needs hotsexycougars.com and all the free porn? But you don't need free porn. Get yourself a fine lady. You'll get all the free stuff you want, and there'll be love there. Trust me, it's better. It's better. This world of like, oh, go out and get whatever you want. Like, it's hollow. And I know from experience, like random sex with ladies. Yeah, it seems fun at the time. Seems like something you're supposed to do when you're young. And I guess you got to kind of, play the field a little bit to figure out who you like, who you want to be with and shit. But in the end of the day, latch on to a good woman till you catch AIDS. Yeah, well, don't be gay. That's how you get AIDS. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. See, stop feeding me jokes, man. Because I'll get jokes all day with that kind of shit. See, I might talk serious things on here, but I am a comedian at heart, and I find humor in everything. Because there is. That's why I was joking about, seeing this lady I knew slam into a parked car. You can't write shit like that. That was real. That was actually happened in front of me, real life. Holy shit. It's not like something I made up. Like, that would be See, I've realized that reality has more humor than trying to come up with something that's funny. I mean, I get thoughts and ideas of things that are funny, but when you see shit like that happen, you just can't write that. That happened. It's hilarious in itself, and I'm going to tell the story because it's fucking hilarious. And it's all true. What makes comedy great is there's so much truth to it. In comedy, there's a lot of you exaggerate, you kind of do generalize a lot, and then pick on stereotypes, all kinds of shit. But to make a point, and people laugh because it's true. Sorry, it's just true. So that's why I decided to call this "Don't Take Yourself Too Seriously," and because you shouldn't, man. At the end of the day, at the end of this life, you die in the end. Could have went in it. I feel like all you have at the end of your life is a lot of good stories. You know what I mean? And that's great. Accumulate more stories and then just live in the now. And life's awesome. Who cares about, oh my God, did you know? Because I've realized there are things bigger than me out there. And either something will stand the test of time if you put your own life and energy to that. Like, if you think about when a person dies and you go to a funeral, right? You have you're mourning their life, you're celebrating them, but their memory lives on. People will talk about that person for ages after that. It's just a little over a year. My uncle passed away, and so my family's going through that. The 1 year anniversary of my uncle's death, and so people are like, I miss him. He's so funny. Me too. And it's like, my uncle Chuck was fucking hilarious. That was one of those men who didn't take life serious at all, especially when you talk to him. And if you were starting to get too serious, he'd check you a little bit, be like, you chill the fuck out. That's what I loved about him. It's good to have people like that in your life, that every now and then, when you're getting a little bit too serious about things, that you have somebody there to pull you back down to earth and be like, you know what, relax. It's going to be all right. Sit back, take it easy, chill out. You're fine. Everything's fine. I've got people like that in my life. I try to be that person, like I just can't, I just always have to joke. It's just in my nature. I see something funny, I call it out as I see it. That's just how I've always been. And some people are like, how can you say that? I told that story about Barbara to my sisters and my mom. They're like, don't be mean. I'm like, I wasn't being mean. She was laughing with me. She fucking made fun of herself. I'm like, how is that mean? It's not. People's perceptions of what you're telling them is how they're reacting to what you're saying. How I reacted and how Barbara reacted was just fucking, it was organic, natural flow of things, and it was awesome. It was great. Fucking awesome. Hilariously funny. Discord app. Sign me up. Or not. So, with the power of comedy, though, it makes me think. Like I couldn't stop laughing when I got home because just that whole incident today, it put me in a better mood because this morning when I woke up, I'm still really tired from work. And this goes into what I was going to talk about, which was like your mind, your body, and your soul, right? All three of those things need to coincide. You get a little triangle or pussy, whatever you want to call it. And when you have these three things like a trinity, you need them all to be at a certain level to have a certain kind of peace and calm. Well, how do you do that, Matt? I believe, or at least I feel, that your soul is always kind of there. It's like the thing that your mind and your body will go up and down into different phases and be all over the place, but your soul's always intact unless you decide to really do some evil shit. Have you heard of Al? Al or AI? Are you AI? I've heard of AI. I know a few Al's in my life. Artificial intelligence, all the things that's going on, like lots of dead whales being found with plastic. Huh? Oh, the ocean stuff. Yeah, again. Yeah, I've gone down these rabbit holes, man, about, fish popping up. I've seen it. The beaches disappearing, climate change. Yeah, all that stuff. Smoke screens from reality, if you ask me. Again, a couple of years ago, and I've said this before, I've been down all these conspiracies, all the worries. Like, did you say that the ocean was the fish? I seen it. Did you notice that the fish were? I saw the fish coming up. And what I've learned is you can't live in fear. You can't live in fear. Like, yeah, do I want to know why hundreds of thousands of like fish wind up on an ocean beach out of nowhere? Yeah, I would like to know that. Am I going to figure it out personally? No. If other people are willing to dive into that information and like research it and try to seek answers, by all means, let them, that's part of their journey, their path. For me, I just accept it. That's out of my control. What is in my control is in my vicinity of my world. This is my world right now. What's right in front of me? This right here, right now. Oh yeah, Seth. Well, the world will probably be here long after man has. There's a wonderful bit. If you like comedy, George Carlin did a real funny bit about it in one of his stand-up acts from like the it was either the early 90s or the late 90s, where he was talking about this exact thing, because he was a man who was talking about climate change and people who were on like Earth Day and shit for decades. It's nothing new. It's something people always talk about that just kind of keeps people's wheels spinning, and kind of keeping them in that whole state of like, oh, are you worried about this? Are you worried about that? I go, always look at your own life. If you sit back and go, if I worry about this shit that, I have no direct control over, I'm missing out on my life. Like, I'm missing out on the people around me, my experiences, the relationships, love. I'm missing all that because I'm worried about this shit. There's evil in the world. Oh, yeah. But see, that's the thing. I've accepted that. See, this is something you have to do on your own. This is a journey where, it's not about trying to convince other people, like, do you know? Yeah, you ain't getting it. I'm not talking about conspiracies. Well, I never said you were. The world is crazy. But are you going to go crazy with the world? Are you going to let it drag you down to that level, or are you going to rise above it? Stay true to yourself, my friend. Just try, be honest with yourself, honest with others, tell the truth, be willing, have an open mind, and you'll be okay. The rest of the world, yeah, it's fucking going to hell. But Kuso, never mind. I don't know what's Kuso. It's like this, my friend. Whether, don't worry about it. That's like the whole title of this video. Don't take yourself so seriously. It's going to be fine. If you go inside and look out, talk and have these honest conversations with you, what can you do in your world today? And this is where I was going to talk about mind, body, and soul, man. Not too long ago, I was about 70 pounds heavier. You can go to my old videos. I just made a playlist called The Vault, which are my very first YouTube videos. And just see for yourself from 4 years ago, I wasn't in a healthy state of body, nor was I in a healthy state of mind either. I was pretty pissed off at a lot of things. And the anger came from fear. And everything comes from fear of love, my friend. When you're worried about, dead whales and stuff popping up, fear pops into your head. Fear pops into me because it's like, yeah, that's crazy. Things are dying. Can anybody explain why? And that's where you have to have these conversations with yourself and go on your journey. And your journey to yourself has to be like, what are you willing to put your energy and time into that's worth it for you? See, I get it. I get like, yeah, that shit's happening. I go, and I've accepted that the world's hell. I've also accepted that, the line of good and evil goes down the center of every man's heart. And it's up to you to choose whether or not to be the monster today. I choose not to. I choose to live honestly, tell the truth, and I got nothing to worry about. That's why I don't live in fear. I'm going to die one day. Maybe it's in 50 years, maybe it's in 5 days. I don't know. But I don't worry about that. I've accepted the fact that I'll die. And what happens after that, I can't wrap my head around it because I don't want to, because it's something that's you can't. At least I can't. Some people like to say, "Oh, I got it figured out." I know. No, you don't. I mean, the real answer to that question is, I don't have it figured out. I don't know. You know? Yeah, I do. No, you don't. That's probably the most realistic answer is, I don't know. But when you accept that, life on your day-to-day becomes manageable and easy. And then you can live and enjoy shit, Then you start going into things that are more into what you like and what are more you. And then you stop worrying about what's going on out there. Like, well, if you're so concerned about what's going on there, what are you going to do about it? All right. Like, I admire people who dedicate their lives to certain things because in their heart of hearts, they believe what they're doing is the path to some form of good. But but like I said in my last live stream, I think the road to hell is paved with good intentions, man. I think less is more, and you have to be simplistic in a world where we have such an abundance, because we have a lot. Everything, every snap of my fingers, go on Amazon. I got my shit, and go to the grocery store, pick out what I want to eat today. There's no struggle today, and so we're like manifesting. We're manifesting problems that we think are important, but we're still forgetting how to even love and connect with one another and build your own family, your own community, and your own principles. Too much. There's so much information in the world that nobody's ever going to get all of it. And the best way that I've discovered is break everything down into your own world. Like if you're going to look at somebody and be like, how can this motherfucker do that? And then you go, have I thought about doing that? Have I done that? Have I contemplated that idea? And if any of those answers are yes, then automatically it makes you accept a person and they don't irritate you anymore. They don't piss you off. You kind of look at them in a different light going, that person's me. Just not at that moment, the way they're behaving, you know. But what's a good one to go down? Oh, man. Is the world going to hell? In what sense, you know? Every generation of man, at least in my short life on this earth, has said that it's either the end of times, things are going to hell, and it's all how you look at it. If you think the world's going to hell, in your world, it probably is. But if you look at the beauty, so much beauty. You ever just sit down by a river and watch the water flow and then look at the animals around, the hawk that's circling, he's looking for his food, he's about to catch something, then a duck comes strolling down that river, the calm, the peace, those animals aren't worried. Maybe the animal, the hawk's looking at, he might be worried, but aside from that, those animals don't worry about shit. They just keep living. They have little families, they get their food, they're all mingling in nature. Human beings seem to be the only people who miss the simplicity of living like that and tend to make more problems. But dead whales found with plastic, my friend, I've flown across the ocean. There's a lot of it. And there are a lot of human beings, and I've even worked in a grocery store. I see the amount of garbage one grocery store in one town could throw away a day, and it's a lot. And I know there's hundreds of grocery stores, thousands, and waste and all kinds of shit. But I don't think in my heart of hearts that it's true. People are very wasteful, my friend. I just said I worked at a grocery store. And let me tell you, when you go in that back room and you see the shit that a grocery store throws away, not all of it's bad, not all of it's like the rotten fruit that is no, some of it's fine. Oh, the date was out yesterday. We got to throw it away. Perfectly good, unopened package or something. It's a lot. We're very wasteful because we take it all for granted, my friend. And you want to know, and I think we as the people should be more organized. You. See, there you go. You think everyone else is. Yeah, there's a ton of good food that goes wasted. I used to work at a grocery store too. Oh, yeah, totally. We're a wasteful bunch. Don't get me wrong. It drives me nuts too. Because looking at that, I'm like, that's a perfectly good piece of chicken. I'll just take that home. I'll put it in the freezer. It'll be fine. But see, aerospace, you think we as people should be more organized. Well, what do you mean by that? See, what is we, Again, break it down into your world. Maybe you should be more organized. You can be more organized. The rest of the people, you have no control over anybody. Not even the people in your life. Your friends, your family, new. It's like, do what you can, and you yourself, if you're living what you're saying you're living, you're staying true to your word, you're being honest, you're living that life, and you have your own integrity, it will shine. People will love you for it. People will also despise you for that shit. They will be like, why the fuck can't you should be more like this. Why the fuck are you over there telling the truth and being honest about stuff? Why can't you just play ball and hang out and my point is by you doing that, sir, you will set an example. You have to be the example. Other people will follow. And those who know something's wrong and they feel it in their soul, they'll know and they'll start to change themselves for it. You can only save this earth by doing it one person at a time. It's not going to be it's not going to be this grand scheme. Like if we just do this one thing, we're all going to be okay. It's so much more to than that. It's going to be more like, what am I doing today? Worry about what I can do, what I say, what I do, how I act, how I behave. What do I do today? Ask yourself, what is something worth to me that I'm willing to give my time and energy to just today? Not 10 years from now, not next week, right now. And so far, it looks like at least the last couple of weeks you've been joining me on this live stream, my friend. That's something you're willing to do. That's pretty cool. This is something that's interests you. That's awesome. I do the same thing. I watch other podcasts. I listen to live streams. I'm a big fan of Owen Benjamin. I've been watching him since he left Hollywood and all that craziness there. I support that guy because he speaks a lot of truth. And what he's been discovering on his own journey is what I've already discovered several years ago on my own. And it's wonderful to watch other people figure it out for themselves because I could tell people all day and every day what I do. It's up to you to live it. And when you discover these things on your own, you'll know what it means. You'll want to share it with other people, but you don't want to share it directly because you don't know what's best for others. It's complicated. I understand. It seems confusing, all the words that are coming out of me right now. But if you don't let your mind get frustrated and let your emotion take over, because that's where the mind's powerful. Your mind tells you the people need to change. I'm like, no, just you. I wish the world would. I think, but I'm not scared for it because when I see people grasp onto that hope and recognize there is some bigger issues at hand going on, it gives me hope that it's going to be fine. And I feel like it's always going to be 50-50. Like there's always going to be half the people trying to dominate the world, another half the people are just trying to live life and enjoy it and have a family and love and just enjoy, keep the circle going of life, not the circle of chaos and vicious stupidity and misery going, but like the circle of life and joy. Like before this stream, I was chasing my nephew around. He's almost 2. And, I have a love-hate relationship with children. And it's not kids I don't like. I like kids because I look at kids as like they don't know. They're just flying around, we're running free. And I remember when I was a kid, I didn't have all this worry. I didn't think about climate change. I didn't give a fuck if whales were coming up out of the ocean. I just go, it's a nice sunny day. I want to go outside and play with Amy and Amber, my next door neighbors, because I like them. Because they were girls. Even as a kid, I'm like, I want to be with a woman and have a family one day. It's like in me, it's like it's your soul, man. It's your instinct, whether you're a person who believes in that energy, give it out. Give out good energy, you'll get it back. Nothing better than living life, but some in time, if we don't take care of these problems, there won't be a life to live. Well, if you look at this, my friend, these problems that whatever out there people are saying exist, they're not going to be solved in our lifetime. So how do you fix those problems? You have your own family. You instill principles and values into your children. They will grow up and lead by example. The generations continue. I come from a line, I'm American, right? Because I was born in America. I am 4th generation Polish immigrant and Slovak immigrant. Yeah, I've heard that saying before too. Surviving isn't living. But who's surviving? Ask yourself this question, my friend. If the food stopped being delivered to the grocery stores tomorrow, are you going to survive? Do you know how to get your own food? Or would you be dead in a week because you don't know how to hunt? See, it's not about the problems and it's not about surviving. Learning skills that attribute to community. It's not about getting that college degree with all your fancy jobs because money isn't real. Loving money is evil. Money gets you skills and utility things that you might need. I used to when I used to fish as a kid, I used to go out with my grandpa and my uncles. I didn't like it. I was always like, fishy smell, because like I was growing up in the 80s where it was almost like um where they were trying to push this thing where, you need to worry about feelings and problems, and everybody, kids are go too crazy. Let's calm the kids down with Ritalin and shit. And then you're just suppressing your natural nature to try to create these zombie drones, which what people they've succeeded in some ways. Every motherfucker, not everybody, but a good chunk of people who don't need to be are on antidepressants or some kind of antipsychotic. And I am strongly against all that medication. I've already made a video about that. I've spoke for almost an hour about my own experience. Check that one out. And I go into great detail on why I think it's all nonsense, because the answers are not outside and you bring them in, they're in here, man. They're inside you. You have more power than you give yourself credit for. You just don't want to tap into it. It's scary. The answers are inside every single individual on this planet. And how they get to that point is solely on three things: honesty about everything. I don't fucking believe you right now, Matt. There you go. That's honest if you were to say that. Being honest. Try to keep an open mind. Open mind doesn't mean accept every goddamn fucking idea you hear and be like, that sounds great. No, that means you also have the power to shut out ideas that are retarded. I believe Santa Claus is real, and he fucked me in my ass last night. Okay, now see, you can shut out bad ideas, but you can still listen and go, that's pretty dumb. And it allows you to kind of go with what, and you can trust your feelings. Like, I feel like that's right, wrong, good, or bad. There's a lot of nonsense out there right now with this kind of shit, climate change, all this other shit. My friend, there's smoke screens to keep you from looking behind the curtain. The Wizard of Oz was a giant smoke screen. It was just this tiny little man playing with some fucking devices, making it out bigger than it actually is. Exaggeration. Comedy's exaggerated, but to prove a point because it's true. The problems that you think are problems, they're exaggerated. Because if you walk around, just go walk around. Go walk around. Go down to your neighborhood, look around. Like, there's a river right now by my house. I go down by that river sometimes in the spring. Now that's getting warmer out here. And I sit there and I just see beauty. I don't see chaos. I mean, you'll find see a dead fish roll up, but that's life. That's why you can't live in fear. Accept your own death, that you one day will die one way or another. And once you accept death, you can enjoy life because it's beautiful. Like I said, before I tried this, before I started this fucking stream, I said the story about, Barbara and her getting into a car accident, which is hilarious, but I can laugh about it. She's 82 today. God bless her. The woman has had a life of fucking amazing stories that I've had the privilege of hearing. Okay. The woman's lived a lot of life. And even at that age, she was able to be like, you know what? I fucked up. And then we joked about it. It's that simple. But our minds, mine included, will overcomplicate the shit out of the littlest thing. It's a blessing and a curse, and it's also something, again, you on your own have to decide how you want to deal with that. So did you hear about that crazy ass young blood thing? No, I didn't. Enlighten me. Dazzle me with something right now. Crazy ass young blood thing. I don't know what that is. Oh, are you talking about, or what I think you're talking about? Explain. Type some more. Give me something. I have an idea, I think, of what you're trying to say. And if it's what I think you're thinking, I'll tell you everything I know. Fuck, I'm out of coffee. So 2 scientists tested these mice. Okay. Oh, and the young mice to the old mice, the old mice feels better. That thing, that test, I know about that. Is that what you're talking about? Like if you're old and then you get the young blood, you feel young again? Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard that. Look, man, there's a lot of okay. There's a lot of doors you can open. And this again, everything, yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of I've been in all these dark rabbit holes, but to somebody who hasn't walked down there yet, this is one of those things that, again, you're going to have to ask yourself, what are you going to do with the information? You don't have to tell me. I know all about it. It's not going to blow my mind. I'm very aware of it. Again, this is something I've already been through this in my own brain, in my own life, with my own emotions, and I go, mankind left to our own devices, or I shouldn't even say mankind. Let's just say any one individual, myself. If I'm left to my own devices, I am out of my mind. And I will be crazy. Like I said, in Matt's world, and I said this in my last podcast I did. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, listen to my podcast at Yaga Rambles. It's on SoundCloud and on iTunes. I talk about this shit all the time. Where in Matt's world, depending on my state of mind at the exact moment, if somebody was to piss me off, like say, you can't say that word, Matt, you can't say faggot, and I don't like them, in Matt's world, I'd be like a dictator, be like, boop, you're gone. But it's not up to me. Thank God it's not, because like any human being, we're very flawed, and that's okay. But you as an individual can learn from your flaws. I believe you have so much more power as a single individual entity in this earth than anybody gives themselves credit for, and you can do it with your own world. The mice thing, yeah, there's experiments, man. I've also heard about Hollywood and them cutting baby dicks off, eating babies in Hollywood. Now, sounds crazy, but if you were a teenager at one point, like I was, I used to dabble, or at least look into like witchcraft and crazy shit. That stuff exists. Is it all real? I don't know. Is it fake? Is it just bullshit? Is it nonsense? Is it wizardry? I don't know. What is it? I don't know. But it's there. Somebody fucked with it. Somebody thought it was cool. Somebody wrote books about it, and it's been passed on for generations. The question is, what do you do with that information? Do you just want to take that information and blast it in people's faces? Like, did you know this? I'm like, yeah, I know it. But me knowing it's not going to change my day to day. Like, I'm not going to be scared. Those people who do those crazy tests with the mice, they fear death. That's what it is. They don't want to die. They want to think they can cheat death with their science. And don't get me wrong. I used to be, science can prove everything, and psychology is the way to go. And I look, from my own experience, I don't know. Yeah, it all goes down to what people are going to do with the information. People don't really do jack. Well, you can. That's why I don't care what people are doing. I care about what am I doing? What are you doing? Do it for yourself and the benefit of your own world around you is what I say. I I'm always honest. I will always be honest with people. You ask me my honest opinion, I'll tell you. And if you go, okay, wait, that's your problem if you react to the way you tell you. But I'm not lying to you. And also, I try to keep an open mind because I used to think I was open minded like 5 years ago. Turns out I was only open minded to certain things that made me think. But then I started thinking outside the box. And that's what you got to do. Think outside the box because the mind loves to put everything inside a box. It's got to be nice, neat, and packaged with a little bow and explained it with a perfect answer. And I'm here to tell you that doesn't exist. It doesn't. There's no perfect answer. When you let go of the fear and you let go of worry and you let go of all these ideas floating in your head that may or not happen or existed, and even if it did, so what? What does it have to do with your day-to-day life? Nothing. It really doesn't. And I've been there. I've had these same conversations that you just shared with me about. Have you heard about that? Yeah. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I was just every rabbit hole, whether it was about these scientific experiments, did we go to the moon? What's Planet X? Did JFK really get shot? I went through all of it. And I know from certain experiences in my life that if you if you just listen to what everybody else is doing and try to mold your life based on what others think, you're a hollow shell. You're not thinking for yourself. You're not feeling for yourself. You're not living for yourself. You have to trust your instincts. Get out of situations when you're like, this doesn't feel right. I should say something. Don't be afraid to say something because words are powerful. Stand up to people that you don't agree with. It's fine. What are they going to do? If they're your family, fuck them. It's okay. They still love you. Mind, body, soul. These three things are key. If you have a good soul, which it seems like you do, your heart's in the right place with this. Have you heard about all this stuff? I'm like, oh, I've heard it all. I've heard of these experiments. I've heard of, I used to be fascinated with World War II stuff, like the crazy Nazi scientists and all the shit and lore that used to come out of that with experiments on humans and all this stuff. I mean, even go back to World War I with, the mustard gas shit, like, chemical warfare. People realized they came up with really creative ways to kill. And after World War I, they're like, maybe we shouldn't use chemical warfare because that's, even for us evil fucks, that's pretty brutal. And the people that do this stuff, I'm convinced they just don't have a soul, or they gave it away and they know they're living that way and they're living in their own personal hell. I don't think heaven's a place you go when you die. It's right here, right now. You can either create your own heaven or you can create your own hell. That's why you have choices. It's up to you, though. No, it's not. It's up to the job I get. And no, it's not. It's up to you. And it's not even about that shit. It's about just trust your instincts. Live an honest, truthful life. People will love you for it. They'll also despise you for it. But I'll tell you, respect is a much more valuable currency than likes on Facebook and likes from the social status of internet people or even just friends and family. Honesty. Always be honest. Don't let those emotions take over and be like, you don't understand what I'm saying. Let me tell you something that helped me. Facebook, what's that? Yeah, exactly. Fuck Facebook. I hate Facebook. It's better to understand somebody than to be understood. If you can put yourself in other people's shoes, feel their pain, live it, really listen to what they're saying, you will get out of your own self. You will fill that hole in the center of your chest, that void. You know, I feel that. You know, all this, like I said, fear and love. Just love onto people. Love is the answer. I know it sounds crazy, but try it. How do you know? The reason a lot of this stuff doesn't work for people is because they allow their mind to tell them, stupid shit's not going to work. What the fuck do you know? I'm like, because I live it. That's how I know. And the truth is, most people aren't willing to do what it takes to have that. And that's just honest. I want to be a big old, that guy at the gym who's all buff and shit. I wonder, why can't I have that? I'm like, because your dumbass isn't fucking capable of doing what that motherfucker does on a day-to-day to get to that point. He gets up, works for 18 hours a day working out. Now, that's crazy, but that's what he's willing to do to get to that point to work on that. Are you? No. See, that's all you got to do is be honest with yourself. That's it. Be honest with yourself. I would love to play guitar. So play guitar. I wish I was as good as Jimi Hendrix or Van Halen, but I'm never gonna be. I'm like, because you're not willing to practice. These are truths. It always break it down to your own world. It's like, I want the world to change, but I'm not going to change. Well, the world's not going to change because you're not willing to. You have to be willing to. See? It all boils down into your own individual life. That's why an individual is so much more powerful than these fucking groups. I hate groups. I hate anybody who says, I'm a part of this group. You're fucking, and you don't think for yourself is what you tell me as soon as that comes out of your mouth. It really does. And the minute you get into a group, like, I'm a member of this fucking society, gives a fuck. Who are you as an individual? Who are you, sir? What's your name? That's what, I don't care. The group is, see, groups are something that's greater than you as a person. And like institutions, symbols, statuses, they're all great. Like, like church is a perfect example. Church is a power greater than a person. Okay. It's a symbol. It's a status thing. It's like, I go to church. What does that mean? Does that mean you live honestly? Not necessarily. There's a lot of people that go to church that aren't exactly honest with themselves. You know what I mean? Individuality. It starts there. It starts with you. Then you work out. It comes back to willingness. What are you willing to do to impact your day, your life, your family, your church, your community? What footprint or impact are you willing or wanting to leave behind? Exactly. What are you willing to do today? Now, what's President Trump going to do? He's not going to do anything for you. What are you going to do for you? Hey, don't get me wrong. It sounds easy. There was a time in my life, too, that I believed that everything else around me needed to change. But that was because I was a self-centered bastard looking at it like going, if everything changed for me, I'd be okay. Everything be good. It's really all it is. It was just me being like, man, if everything was like this, my world would be good because it's Matt's world. There's something that doesn't exist, but it exists, and it's called your ego. Ego is a manifestation of your self-identity that's not even real. Who am I without all these things that I cling to? You're you. What do you mean, me? Again, this is one of those things where as an individual, as a person, you have to have this conversation with yourself and be honest with yourself. Always, it starts there. Well, what do I need to be honest with about, Matt? Anything. I don't want to go to work today. Why not? I'm tired. I hate my boss. I don't get treated well. Whatever. And then when you start asking yourself these questions, the answers start coming to you. And then you start letting go of it and going, that's kind of dumb. I don't need to let this consume me today and ruin my day and have power over me and all that, waste my energy. You don't have a family? Start one. Get married. Settle down. It's not so bad. But Well, it's easier said than done. I'm like, I agree. I have been in a numerous amounts of relationships, and the only common denominator in all those relationships was me. I've dated some wonderful women in my life. I've also dated some not so wonderful women in my life. They weren't the problem, though. I was always the problem. Today, I'm lucky to be with somebody that I understand them completely and they understand me, which allows both of us to grow. You can have that with anybody if you're honest all the time. And don't be afraid. There's more power in truth and honesty than there ever will be in any lie. Ever. And that is true. That's not just my opinion, that is reality. You can't even argue that. Well, sometimes it's good to lie. No, it's not. At all. Even the white lies. Oh, God. Here, the other day, I was telling somebody this morning, because they were telling me, they're like, I I've had this weird, I couldn't even tell this white lie. And I go, I know how you, I know what you mean, because at work the other day, there was this lady, this girl I work with, and she was getting all freaked out because she didn't put an order in and their food was ready. And she's like, what do I tell them? I'm like, just be honest. Say you didn't remember to put the order in. And then she's like, I can't do that. And then there was the evil part of me, which was like, what you could say is that they dropped it in the kitchen and they had to make a new one. And even me, I wasn't lying, but what I told her she could lie about was making me just cringe and disgust, going, ugh, ugh. I've been living honestly for so long now that I just, even telling somebody else to lie is a lie. That's why my first thing was told her was like, just be honest about it. Just say you fucking forgot. Take responsibility for your fuck up and then go from there. And it's hard. I get it. And everybody lives a different, I understand it. All the arguments, well, your life's not, I get it. I understand. Just do it for you. Honesty, an open mind, and a willingness. What are you willing to do right now, today, at this moment to change? What are you willing to do? About what are you willing to do about the dead fish in the ocean? Nothing. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just don't. It's not, at the end of the day, I'm almost 35 and I realized how much time I wasted on just, now I have information about shit that's like, well, what do I do with it? How does it help people? It doesn't. It helps me know better. It helps me identify bullshit. I'll tell you that. But it helps me identify bullshit to the point where I can just keep on living life and keep it simple, man. And for me, keeping it simple means just family, love, willingness, playing with my little nephew, watching him smile because he's almost 2, and he's getting a kick out of just anything. This is grabs this and what's this? How can I fix it? Because that's how he learns. It's, you see where you start off as a child, which is you exist, and then you're just learning everything. And then you get to a point where you're fed all this bullshit, and you get older, and you realize all the bullshit you heard is bullshit, and then you got to flush all the bullshit out, and then remember that the basis of life is to set your own principles and values. And again, truth, honesty, open mind, willingness. That's about all you need. Everything else after that, what you like to do in your spare time, what you get, what's a hobby, that's all up to you. What brings you your own joy, Oh, God. But at the end of the day, it's going to be all right. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Don't be scared. At the end of the day, there's still a dead whale on the beach that needs to be blown up. But I'm not going to hear or smell it from my house. Yeah, exactly. Fuck that whale. Ah, yeah, see? Joke. I love it. I love humor. Humor's great. And don't that's why I said don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take anything too seriously. Oh, but my mom's got cancer. She'll be fine. It's gonna be all right. What do you mean she's gonna be fine? She'll be all right. My mom had cancer. It's okay. You being scared about it isn't gonna help. What you can do in situations like that, be there for people. Support as best as you can. Be an ear to listen to. Be a shoulder to cry on. That's it. But isn't that no? Shouldn't there be? No, there isn't. You can argue me all you want, and it's okay. Again, argue with yourself. Have those deep conversations with you because it's you versus you every single day. The you versus you that gets up and goes, "Do I want to do this?" No, you don't. Do things you don't want to do. Try some new shit. You'll be fine. Find a skill. Learn how to hunt. Get your own food. You'll be all right. I want to get a chicken coop, man. Chicken coop with some chickens. Get my own farm fresh eggs every day. Oh, that's wonderful. Go get a garden. Fresh cucumber. Ugh, peppers. So if you really want to be scared, one day, when they're not having trucks drive food to the grocery store, that's when you should be scared. And ask yourself that honest question. Are you going to be okay in a week? Probably not. Learn how to, learn a skill. You know, fishing's a good one. Thank God I still know how to fish. Uh, I gotta probably start hunting. I've never went hunting before, but I can shoot. Actually a pretty decent shot. So, but there's only so many bullets, so I guess I gotta learn how to shoot a bow and arrow. Fuck. See, even I gotta learn a new skill. See, it never ends. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Aerospace, if you're gonna set up that Discord thing, do it. And send me an email with all that connection. And any more concerns or anything, it's all good, man. It's all love. It's all love. That's what Mike Tyson said once. It's all love. After he beat the shit out of everybody. Because he's an animal. But he's an honest animal, so at least we'll give him that. All right. Make sure to like this, share, leave me some comments. I'll see you all next week. Peace, everybody.